Yeah, it's either one or two.
What's in here?
Start now, so by the time this stuff falls, they have.
Yeah, start now, 5 years.
I guess it's on there. They should take whatever they should. Well, right.
You guys ready? Okay, we'll call the meeting to order and we'll start with the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nothing on the sign-in sheet. Approval of the minutes for May 12th.
Not good to me.
I'll make a motion to approve.
No second.
All in favor? Okay. Code enforcement, May 25. Are you up to speed yet?
I'm good, Mayor. I'm good, Mayor. We issued 10 permits for the period, total construction value of $553,800. There were 9 residential permits and 1 non-residential. We issued 8 COs, 24 building inspections, and into the season, 16 property maintenance issues, 9 zoning issues, and compliance achieved 15, so that's good. So high grass and weeds, of course, is in full swing. 11 Farmers Drive is that. On 188 Forge Hill Road, the woman has contacted me. I have to get back to her. That was that horse shed wherever on the road there. There was a complaint on Hefner Road concerning dead trees along the property line, which is a civil issue. We don't have anything to do with that. But, Belford Landing, there was a fence without a permit. They did pull the fence down. High grass and weeds at 303 Keller Road. That was taken care of. People got that cut. We had a deck being built on Mine Road without a permit. That was addressed. We did receive a permit application for that. We've still got some trash issues at 1634 Salem Springs. Trying to work with that property owner. I know she doesn't have a lot of money, but she's got to get rid of the trash. So hopefully that's been addressed. We had another place with some issues concerning trash and rubbish throughout the property. That property owner got everything cleaned up. And an application was received for the pool. 391 Park. This has kind of been an interesting one. It did go to court, and from what the tenant called the office and left a message for me today that while the property owner has cleaned up and got rid of some of the issues, there must be an issue with the sewage, with the septic there. Because she said she contracted typhoid fever, which I guess is, just looked it up, and it's a result of contamination, fecal contamination. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'll call her.
But they're connected to her.
Yeah, but I think this is a property, I think that it had broken the sewer pipe and backed up into the house. I don't have all the details of that one.
That's the one that I'm thinking of. I'm not sure if it's the same address or not. She has, I think the landlord was trying to evict her or something.
Yes.
That she keeps putting baby wipes and just dumping baby wipes down the toilet
Okay,
on purpose.
all right.
Yes, and he said he was going to try to evict her, because she's called several times with complaints about the property because of sewage issues, but every time the plumber goes there, there's tons and tons of baby wipes that he's pulling out of there,
Okay,
so.
well, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Not much I can do with that one. I will return a phone call tomorrow, but not too much else I can do with it. We've got a couple more that compliance achieved for high grass and weeds. Pleasant Hill Road, 895 and 897. I think that's pretty much it.
Did you get an update on Kathleen Court?
Scott and I were just over there before the meeting tonight, and Scott gave me an update on that.
Yeah, since Frank talked to them on 52, they're not riding on the road anymore, and there's been a lot less activity. So I talked to the neighbors, so I got a couple written complaints and then a couple verbal complaints. And that's really settled down in the last 2 weeks, so we'll monitor it. It seems like that's good. On 11 Kathleen Court, I actually wound up talking to the owner because we didn't get a lot of satisfaction from the people renting it. And since I've talked, they've already cleaned up a lot of the junk and rubbish and stuff that was laying in the yard. And as far as the riding close to the road with the safety issues, that's been addressed. And it seems like they have 4.5 acres of riding the rest of the property, and that seems good. The only thing is some vehicles yet that are unlicensed. So we'll continue to monitor that, but some good activity since Frank's talked.
Hopefully that will get addressed as well.
All right, thank you. SEO report for May 25 from LTL. I guess there's a few outstanding District 3 pumps. You know if are they gonna start citing or?
They have actually, the 5 of the addresses, all got certified letters.
Okay.
So once they actually, 858 Crystal Cave actually just got pumped. We're just waiting on the actual, report from the sewer, so the rest of them just have to get done. And he did ask, Brad had emailed me and asked if the board would mind if we sent out postcard reminders instead of the letters and envelopes. It's cheaper that way and more convenient for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay,
That's Max and Tommy.
okay. I will let him know.
All right, police report.
Good evening. For May, for Richmond Township, 214 calls for service, 22 crash investigations, 11 traffic citations, 4 criminal arrests, 5 reportable crimes, 56 vehicle stops, 11 hours of criminal investigations, follow-up, and 6 hours of court time. And May consisted of Richmond Township of reports of harassments and disorderly conduct. And the other thing I have for personnel is I have a part-timer that's going to be starting with us very shortly. He's ready to go. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. The Chiefs looks like it's gonna be opening up soon, so that'll get everybody some.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Super
excited.
I mean, next month will be all full,
Yeah.
instead of just one line.
I wish you were kidding.
I'm not.
I know. Anybody have any other questions for me?
Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome. Go ahead and next meeting.
Virginville Fire Company report.
Just whatever, Mark had sent into you, he just asked me to be present as representative. And for those that don't know, I'm James Detweiler Senior, Assistant Chief with Virginville.
I see you did some training too. I did have a nice conversation with Mark. Looks like you're doing a lot of good things.
We're trying.
So I'm very, very appreciative and impressed. So I had a nice conversation with Mark on Sunday. All right, Walnut Town. Not here, but. Did they say?
They did not send one. He usually comes in with it.
Okay, there's Lifeline.
looks like an average book.
About it.
What is charter calls?
Oh, that's for the pool, that's for the pool. All right. We do have on the agenda to discuss the tax to fund the EMS. I'd like to hold off on that for just 1 month. They did a comprehensive study for the fire companies. I just want to see if that has any bearing before we have to take that decision.
Shouldn't be a problem.
So. All right. Engineers report, Willow Crest.
Jen got some clarification finally from PPNL on some of the delays where it seems like,
PPNL or Med Ed?
I'm sorry,
That's all right.
dealing with both of them.
That's all right.
That was pretty.
But they did clarify that it was, they've been leaning on Grande that kind of lapsed on getting some of that work done. Trying to figure out when they're gonna get back out there to do it. They're finishing up punch list items, but I haven't heard on the streetlights. Still think they need Med Ed to be out there when they do the next step, but
Well, they have to open up the box and no one's meeting, he hasn't made a move. I emailed Mario and I said, this is the feedback I got from Vicky. Nothing.
yeah, it seems like to what Jen was trying to get from Med Ed, they took forever to get back to her, and then they finally justified where they stood and what was going on. But yeah, it's the Grande work hasn't moved forward. I mean, they just need to get in there and do the streetlights before we can do anything with the street dedications. And the
So it's
punch
Med
list-
Ed waiting on Grande.
That's what it sounded like, right, Jen?
Yes.
That was like the last,
Yes.
I mean, Med Ed did make the last cancellation, but then in the emails where Jen's been trying to communicate with them as well, it seems like there is a hold up there. So, yeah,
So the strategy you've been following from Med Ed, you gotta start doing Grande, sending frequent emails to Project.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say.
Well, I sent the whole email chain to him, like, this is who you have to contact, kind of like holding his hand, but not really making the phone call and giving him the phone. But no response, so I'll try again.
yeah, I can start pushing on my end too. I called them today, just coming to the meeting, thinking I'd get a quick update of where things were, but I didn't get an answer yet either, so we'll push on them. I did talk to the Conservation District, which I do want to have a site meeting before Grande does their work, just to make sure we're all on the same page. And I think we'll be all right with the grading, the parking on the side of, I don't know what you want to call it, the ball field side, the other, the school side there. I don't think they will do on the next ball field. So we're talking about the parking there. I just recently had another project where there is a common plan situation where any NPDS project, any development in that NPDS area either has to renew their NPDS permit, and it makes it easier to work with the Conservation District, which Grande did. And on the plans, it says that there's a certain number of square feet allowed to be developed, and that was part of the design. I think that's good, but I think the future of the park, we gotta really sit down and talk to the Conservation District about. It sounds like there's they treat any additional development as another NPDS permit, which is a lot more permitting than I would have ever expected might go into this, but hopefully a meeting with them will go pretty far, because their engineer, Tom Forsyth, was pretty upfront and honest that it's a little overbearing to some development, but he said the good thing is Grande didn't try to close out their permit recently, which they thought they could do, and it would help, but it's not gonna. So I think if there's any permit transfer that needs to happen. Them renewing their permit put us in a better spot for that. But they are looking to have a site meeting with us, and I'm hoping it's gonna be about the same time that they want to discuss the solar farm as well, because we put in a call to them to have a meeting. They did confirm they're trying to schedule something. I just haven't heard from Dean. But while I had Tom on the phone, I did talk to him, and he said, yes, we're just trying to schedule out when that would be appropriate to get everybody together at best time, we should say. So, yeah, we're looking to meet with them as soon as they're ready. I basically said, let us know and we'll try to accommodate as best we can. So,
Circling back to this lighting thing. Am I wrong? It's been going on for over a year.
Way too long.
That's ridiculous.
and that was it. As Jim was saying, this Grande made it sound like it was med end and we couldn't get hold of them, so it seemed right. But their last response, which was just like 2 weeks ago,
Do you have a
she
list-
outlined everything
Do
that
you have a list of the players in this whole thing?
Yeah, it's all on here, all the different phone numbers.
Let's try and get a site meeting together, we'll walk this thing down, and get it done. I
Okay.
mean, this is ridiculous.
Mhm.
It doesn't, it's not surprising, but it's ridiculous. We can just, let's put something together.
Okay.
I'll attend it, we'll get it done.
Okay.
Yeah, our liquid fuels calendar is gonna roll over again.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And not only that, the residents are waiting on lights.
Yeah.
You know, who has to plow the snow? They're not happy with that. That's, I mean, why can't we just get this done?
Yeah, I've never seen such a delay with lights. I've never really ever been involved with that.
Well, it seems like it's twofold, not just one.
Just gotta put it all the players together.
With the solar farm, again, they've been quiet. They haven't asked for anything. The conservation district, knowing that this was gonna be closing out soon, we put in a request. He seemed to be out for a while, so that kind of got put on hold. But we're just waiting to meet with them so that we can be on the same page when they do ask for the closeout, that we're looking for the same things. Regardless, I think we have everything in our favor to say that we're looking for those improvements at the ponds to show what occurs during the storms is what is part of the report. Again, not just the solar farm, but their engineering company went silent too after the last one. But as soon as we talk to the conservation district, I think we're gonna put the pressure on to say, here's what we need before we close it out. So,
Okay, let's push it on this one. See if we can put
Yeah.
something.
I mean, I would like to do that jointly with the conservation district. It would be helpful. I don't know if we're gonna get that.
I'd be
Even if
happy
we
just
don't.
to have a meeting with the others.
Okay, then we can just proceed with that then.
Just,
Okay,
it may never happen. Let's start.
okay.
See if we can schedule something. You'll attend that, Sam? What's that? Will you attend that as well?
Yeah, I think we have the owners and their engineer there as well, because they're the ones who have to close this and sign off on it. So,
Did we get accurate as-bills yet?
Nope.
Well, we gotta have those.
that was part of the last request that they haven't. I did get a response that they were working on it, but about a week after that, I requested it, but haven't had anything since. We can, if you want to take that approach and I'll wait for the conservation district.
I think we have to.
We can get that meeting.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Okay.
I didn't see the sign-in sheet when I was out there. Am I allowed to say something on it?
No, you used all your time up this year. I was gonna get to you as soon as we weren't gonna skip over you.
Okay,
You go ahead.
okay.
Go ahead.
I have two things the first thing is, do we know the timeframe of the road, when the road's gonna get fixed? Do we have that timeframe for that?
They didn't get back to on when the schedule was, but they are aware of it. They want to meet out there, do a walkthrough first. Robbie, I think, and I just have to meet with them and go through that. So they are doing that.
Because it is getting worse. I mean, obviously that
It is.
pipe has fallen or whatever.
And it, just so we're on the same page too, from their driveway out to the end, they're gonna mill that shoulder and redo the shoulder closest to the solar farm itself. I'm sorry, the driveway after the farm. their main driveway.
Okay,
They're redoing that. They're also replacing the pipe and then repaving over top of that so that that smooths out altogether. And up near the mailboxes as
Okay.
well.
so that all.
So those are the three areas that are part of what they're gonna be doing.
Okay,
And who's doing that? Did we do that out?
Yeah, well, we got quotes on it and it was
Folk, right?
Ronnie Folk.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Folk, so it's an outside, it's not them, it's
oh, okay.
Folk,
Okay.
Ronnie Folk.
And you have the money.
Yes,
Yeah, they paid it. Did they pay it?
yes, they did.
So we're ready.
And then that last, well, it's the first retention pond that's up by, the one that they had to redo. The weeds are really high now. Don't they have to manicure the weeds in the retention pond like that? I mean, they must be 2 feet high.
We can contact them, but, you know, we're focusing on keeping everything cut neatly on a regular basis outside the fence. And then I think they have to cut inside the fence.
They actually, yeah, they
it's good.
amended what, the DEP regulations for inside the solar farm were ridiculous. It was not before it's a foot tall, but no more than 4 feet or something. And they basically said we won't go more than something consistent with the ordinance. But the ponds, I'll have to look. Those have a little bit of a different way to handle, because are you talking about the one that's closest to their, like the mechanic, the substation?
Yes.
At the hardware store.
Okay. Those two are infiltration basins, so I'm not sure. I have to look and see what that says on those. But,
How are they doing with the fence and the weeds and the grass around the edges?
They've been taking care of it too, yeah. I mean, it's not been like last year.
Yeah.
Right? It's been better than last year. The other, like 2 or 3 times, there's a gray car and it parks in the middle of the street. And when I was going for my walk, the guy was obviously sitting in his car and I thought something was wrong and I said to him, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "No, he says, "Yeah, I'm okay." He said, "I'm just sitting here," he said, "making sure there's no fire at the on the solar panels." So he was like, he said he was like a security outfit. So then he was parked in the street again, and then he was parked in the street the other morning, and I called the police.
Yeah,
So they,
might be, that don't seem valid.
no, they came out and they told him that they have to park in the gravel there. They cannot park, I mean, he's literally in the middle of the street. So that's been taken care, I mean,
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's a valid thing. We should ask the chief when he was here.
They-
That don't even sound valid.
They do have somebody that's kind of their point of contact for grounds, but
Not
I
to
think
watch
he's
the
up
fires.
here.
that's what he told me, yeah. And then, and I did take notice, since that outfit is there being security, there is trash there. Like there was a water bottle, a soda bottle, so they're not cleaning up after themselves.
Was that near the entrance area?
Yes.
Or was it?
Yes.
Our neighbor, Rod, the one, when you come up the hill, the first one before us, I was talking to him tonight, and he said that, you know, a lot of times they'll sit in his yard under the tree. He said, "I got no problem with that, except they need to clean their trash up." I guess they're letting soda bottles lay, candy wrappers.
So what are they're actually doing it?
They're just sitting there.
It's random times. During the day, sometimes it's on the weekend.
That don't seem-
It's random,
They were there now when we came over.
yeah.
I can add, the guy that they put in charge, Bo, that was his name.
Yes.
He's been pretty responsive on
Just
things
say,
like
what's
this
the
stuff
deal?
and just try to get an idea of when
That
people
one-
and why.
Have wine, they have plenty, they have 100 acres there. Park in their driveway,
Or go in and,
right?
I mean, they sit in there and they're sleeping. So it's a solar farm, you technically catches on fire, they're not gonna see anything else.
Do you ever see them inside the fence?
No, not those people.
That don't even make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
It's-
I was environmental group or something.
It's usually a pickup truck that you see driving around in there.
Oh,
A white or a blue pickup truck that's
But these,
driving around inside the solar field and so on.
but these cars, I mean, it's been two different cars that they just sit there, and they're in their car.
I think Kurtz is doing all the moving. I believe, so I don't,
Really?
No, F.
I'm sorry.
F.
Like, Yeah, that would have been a surprise.
Yeah, me too.
Now I know the looks.
Yeah, they didn't farm it, but they're mowing the grass.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for commenting your input. Just keep us abreast.
Okay.
Yeah, check, let's see what the deal is. And if they say that's not with us, then we'll check with the chief and tell them to get some identification.
I'll get those answers, then I'll request a meeting right after.
Perfect.
I'll get more on things. The Fleetwood Borough Authority is here to discuss. They have a land development plan that had gone through with the planning commission. They had made recommendations. I'm gonna say it was October of 2024. We had asked them to hold off coming to the supervisors until they did get their NPDS permit reviewed and approved, simply because there was carryover for our stormwater approval that we did with their NPDS review. So that's why they are here, because they went through that, but I don't know if you want to bring them up to speed on the project, if you would.
That was the plan there.
And there are a couple waivers that were recommended as well. So we
Good evening. I'm Joe Burgett from Burgett and Associates. This is David Faust from the Solar Renewable Energy. I think you guys were involved maybe through the zoning hearings and stuff like that, but this is Crisscross Road. This is the entrance coming into the existing sewer plant. These are the two lagoons, buildings, and treatment tanks are all in the back. We had to go through zoning to put the solar in the front yard of the principal use. That was approved. Like Scott mentioned, we did submit a land development plan. The planning commission did review in October, and then we had to submit to the conservation district because of the acre disturbance. Conservation districts are pretty much saying that the whole entire array is going to get disturbed during construction, so we have to account for that. And that when we did. We got that approval probably a week or two ago from the conservation district. I do have a copy of the letter. You got a copy of that approval letter? I do have a copy of it here. If you want to have that, that's the approval letter from the conservation district. Scott, your last comment letter was, I think, September 30th.
Correct. You have that.
So that NPDES process has not resulted in any redesign of the project, everything is where it was when the planning commission last looked at it.
Correct. Yeah, nothing's changed other than silt fence, silt sock, rock construction entrance, stuff like that, but it has stayed the same. And we are putting, evergreens in the front, along the whole entire frontage, 2 rows.
How high do you think they'll be when you plant? When they're,
There's typical detail here. They're gonna get probably 10.
Typically, we do 4 to 6 feet. is what we typically do.
During planting, and then they'll grow 10, 12 feet, that's right.
And those trees are on grade, there's no.
Correct.
Correct. And that's the thing, same thing with the panels, there's no grading at this site. The disturbance is just gonna be the equipment running around the site, pounding the posts in the ground.
So there's no work.
No, this site is almost the flat as a pancake, so there's no grade.
And the driveway is, the construction access is gonna be the existing driveway. So,
And there is, can you talk about that little gap on the fence where you're adding fence as well?
that would be right
Top of
here,
the plant, yeah,
right here.
is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, so right now the fence comes up just around the facility here.
Yeah, the current fence is right here around the lagoon ponds. And we're adding a fence that's gonna connect to the existing fence, out around.
Wasn't there another fence though for a visual barrier being added?
There was one here, yeah, it's all solid fence. There was some discussions, I think, it must have been at the zoning hearing or planning commission, but they requested us to put a solid fence here, just on the upper side of the driveway. So you're driving in on the left. Is there school, there's a school here, right? I
That's
think
the-
that's
the
what it
field.
was.
It sits like right here.
The fields or something?
I think the fields
Soccer
there,
fields.
it was planning commission, I believe, that requested the fence to go in for that little section where you would be able to see it, so in the event it was distracting or just create a buffer, just like we're doing along the northern, the
That's
front side of the
correct.
property.
Right.
That's why they added that as well.
Understood, forgot about that.
But we are, they're also requiring slats within the chain link, existing chain link along here.
So the project, just to point it out, is it's a solar system added to basically offset costs for the property. So this isn't, because it's primarily feeding the use on the site, it's not a solar farm where they're doing this to harness energy and send it off the property.
It's
not
No,
It's like an accessory type solar.
Yes, correct.
That's part of the requirement there, is to use more than, use the primary source of the energy for the property. So that's the intention. Some of the other things there, the panels are, when they looked at the full property coverage with the panels, they're still under the lot coverage for the property. That was some of the discussion we had there.
How big is this field?
I think this, I don't know. how-
The whole entire site is 13 acres, so probably 4 acres, 3-4 acres.
Do you know,
Say,
do you know, what's it generating? Power-wise?
There's 2,500 panels.
2,500 panels. Let me give you a ballpark here.
And there is some of this in the floodplain, so they did have to go and do a detailed flood study. When they did that, they ran it in 2 different scenarios, but the most impactful was looking at each individual post that would be in that floodplain, because all the panels are elevated, I think 1.5 feet or something above
18
the
inches.
actual base flood elevation. So when they did that, the impact to the culvert on crisscross was almost negligible. And there was the increase was so minor that it doesn't add up to a concern as far as the studies go, both with DEP and our ordinances, so.
Annually, it'll produce about 1.8 to 1.9 million kilowatt hours. This is by far the borough's largest utility, consumer of power. So,
What percentage of load will it?
it will power 100% of the annual usage for the sewer plant. Actually, it will also offset their other satellites accounts as well, which I think the sewer plant, again, I'm going off of memory here, so these aren't perfect, but I think this accounts for 60 to 70% of the borough's annual energy usage. The system will offset 100% of the borough's annual energy usage.
Oh. And the panels there, I mean, how do you guys, or is there?
These are fixed panels, so these,
But how do they
Sorry.
control the weeds under there? and
Just
stuff?
about, a lot of them is at least 3 feet off the ground. Some of them can be a little bit more than that because of the floodplain. But
You got just a lot of questions because of the nightmare we had with the commercial
yeah,
solar farm.
Yeah, and
the blowback from that.
the authority will maintain the array. We will not maintain the grass here.
Okay.
So,
Who's kind of on the panels?
we will own the system.
Who will own the
We will own the system, yeah.
Okay.
We entered into a contract service agreement with the borough for the sale of the electricity from the system to the borough.
So what kind of waivers are we looking at?
pretty standard waivers that you've seen. There's,
Preliminary
so
plan.
the first is to combine the preliminary and the final into a single submission, which would be a waiver of the standard section 500 preliminary plan procedure. The scale of the plans themselves, it looks for a 1 to 50 or a 1 to 20. They're in the middle at a 1 to 40. It's a legible scale that we support that. The other waiver is for the location map. So basically their location map, although it's slightly smaller than the scale, it's 1,000 instead of 800. It shows the zoning districts that detail that's required to be in there. So basically a technicality. But that was it. They didn't need a waiver or request a waiver for anything else through the process. And they were, as he said, they were in October, but they were in at least one other time before that where they had gone back through and made changes after discussion with the planning commission.
So I don't agree with any of those. So,
Chris, do you see that? No. I think you're fine.
and do we just make one waiver or do we make each one?
In this case, I think you could do them together because they're equally innocuous in my opinion.
So I'll make the motion to allow the waiver for the preliminary plan submission, the plan scale, and the location map scale.
I'll second.
All in favor?
And the second request would be the same as the planning commission recommendation for the conditional plan approval based upon the September 30th, 2024 review letter.
I'll make that motion. All in favor?
Thank you, gentlemen.
So what's, you're lucky you got approved.
They did pretty
After
good.
the shellacking they gave the Phillips.
I know. I have to wear it. I just feel stuck. For years.
What, can you give an estimate on construction?
Yeah, start
Thank you very much.
mid to late September and try to be complete by the end of the year.
Somebody will get the calls.
If you want to review that, make sure there isn't anything that we need to take care of. And then, do you have a copy of it? ENS?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Cost estimate we went through once already.
We'll just make sure. We'll make sure. We have the plans all signed.
Yep.
By everybody. So we could leave them here, and if there's any changes, then we'll just have to make them, but it'll probably be fine. But we'll just leave these here.
I don't see anything about improvements agreement.
Oh, there wasn't another?
If you see something, just let us know.
We're gonna discuss it. That's what the improvements agreement was the cost that we had in
I
there.
don't remember stuff. Back in September, right? October. But if there is something, we'll gladly take care of it.
I can't, I got the wrong letter.
Right, because
For the
It would be,
may have been for the, was
there
it for
was
the
no
drive-
stormwater.
For the road?
It would
No
be-
driveway.
Really, at this point,
ENS.
it'd be ENS.
And there's a permit.
The landscaping buffers.
That's true.
okay, because, I mean, to the extent that the condition
there
of the
would be.
minutes is for compliance with the last review letter, I would say we should supplement that motion to include and
With the
improvements
necessary
agreement.
agreements.
Yeah, necessary agreements, because is there, are there stormwater facilities that are being maintained? No.
It's just a vegetation buffer that we have to put on there.
So we don't need a stormwater agreement then, we just need the improvements agreement with some financial security. Okay, it's not a big deal, but we need to cover it.
Do they need to amend anything in the motion?
Yeah, how do you want the new motion?
Just the conditional approvals based on September 30, 2024 draft letter plus any necessary agreements.
Did you get that, Jen?
Yes, it did.
I'll make that motion. All in favor?
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
2025 street work.
We meet with H&K on Thursday to discuss the project Rob and I do here. We'll issue them the notice to proceed to start no later than July 1st, which will have them completed by August 15th. There's plenty of time to get them in and out before school. They didn't see, we don't have a date of when they're gonna start. Hope maybe on Thursday they'll give us that date, but
They gotta be on behind with all this weather. Oh,
I haven't heard that from them yet, but I'm sure it's coming. But I expect them to be probably, they might try to squeeze it in before the 4th, but my guess is they'll try to get in here right after the holiday. So, that is it.
all right. Chris?
Jen circulated the delinquent report. This time it's the same as last month. I did talk to Michelle Mayfield. She said that there are some accounts that have another quarter of delinquency, but I'm not asking tonight for any action on that. I think we can catch up on that next month if there's anything that needs to be done. There were a couple letters I think Jen was gonna send out. Did you get anything back?
Did not, I did send the letters out, but I did not get any responses.
All right, so, next month we might wanna talk about follow-up action. The only action item I have is on the Eli Drive, payment was made. So I think the property owner has satisfied what the township was looking for. And I would ask for a motion to authorize me to file, satisfactions of those liens that are still pending.
Are they current with their current sewer bill?
Yes, they are.
I'll make that motion. All in favor? That's it.
That's all I have, thank you.
There was, I'm sorry,
Go
there
ahead.
was one other property that does not have a delinquency with Pam's, but they did reach out. Apparently they are selling their house. And when I did the sewer certification, there was a zero balance there. They came back and asked me, they said, well, there is a lien on their property, do you know why? So I had to reach out to Michelle and Cynthia, and they found out that they were another one of the sewer amnesty people. So, we did get that information, we passed it on to, Cynthia and Michelle got me the information. I don't remember how many liens were on the property, but I sent it over to the closing company, so they were gonna take care of that. My thought is, I don't know if we wanna wait till another house gets sold, or if we wanna take the list and go through it and see if there's any liens on any of the other properties, to see if there's anything that is owed from anybody else. I did try to go through the sewer on the QuickBooks to try to find out, and unfortunately, it's not organized very well. It's kind of a hunting month to month to month, looking at all the deposits.
Well, I'm assuming, and this is, I don't think it's too much of a stretch, that when people paid off their obligations, that we were routinely satisfying these liens. So if there are existing outstanding liens, my presumption is that they're all unpaid.
Right.
I don't think it would be hard for Cynthia in my office to search the judgment index and look for those liens. I
Okay.
think we could just do a Richmond Township search
Right,
and come up with a list.
okay.
So I don't know, does the board want me to?
Yeah, I think that would be,
Look at that.
so we know we're not surprised.
Okay. All right.
Do you want me to get in touch with Cynthia then and just ask her to do that?
Yeah, go ahead. So just get a list of all the outstanding Richmond Township sewer liens, so you can compare it to what you have here.
Okay.
See how it matches up.
All right, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Stack Bank didn't have really nothing, they said please until I took a new generator pump.
That's all right.
Roadmaster, the monthly road work, he wants the motion to advertise for the purchase of a used truck. I see the list there, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it looks like he has a pretty good
It's back here, it should work.
I make a motion to authorize that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, secretary.
All right, in the general fund, we have check numbers 11,973 to 11,997, including EFTs for $167,130.13.
Make a motion, we pay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
State fund, there were no checks. Light fund, check number 2183 for $836.05.
I'll make a motion, we pay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Sewer fund, check numbers 3316 to 3322, including EFTs for $32,586.04.
I'll make a motion, we pay it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Walnut Town Fire Escrow, there was no checks. Virginville Fire Escrow, check number 2196 for $20,978.37 for the truck payment.
Make a motion, we pay it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay, I did do some research. I know I had emailed you guys on a few things. A few issues that was thought about that I wanted to speak to the board regarding the sewer billing on the in-house. Pam's is charging a transaction fee for any transactions that go through there, whether it be through PayPal, Venmo, credit card, debit card, regardless. The only glitch in the system is that they have an actual portal that residents can go on any time of the day, click on the portal, put in their invoice number, put in their address number, their name, their address, whatever, and get the amount that they're paying and pay that amount. And then Pam's, of course, pays us twice a month for it.
Do you have any idea how many of the township customers are paying electronically to PAMS?
Well, I don't have the exact number. All I know is there's 318 people that actually get bills, and of those, 44 people actually get electronic bills. Everybody else gets paper bills, but I don't know until it actually gets to me who's paying electronically or not. Now, with the Intuit, if they would sign up for an electronic invoice, which right now there's 44 people going through PAMS. If the link works properly when I send it to the email, they can click on the link to pay it electronically. Otherwise, there's no electronic payments. It's got to be done either by my key punching, having them call the office, or stopping in the payment.
Well, we don't do that. Is there other options? Is there a way to get a portal for us?
They're not with Intuit. You'd have to go through one of those software companies that has the actual portals. That's when it gets into like PAMS. PAMS has the portals, they have the software and everything, but Intuit does, basically it's the electronic invoice and hopefully it works. Pam says they have some of them that are electronic invoices, but sometimes they change their emails. They don't tell them, or it bounces back stating the email's not valid anymore and they have to send them a paper invoice. She said that's why it's one of those things where they're, just paying electronically rather than anything else. So that was the only glitch in the system. That and the fact that every time you would say we have 20 people in one day bringing payments in here or something, which isn't bad, but you're having 20 separate deposits listed on the bank statement, which is going to be more of a challenge reconciling everything. Rather than twice a month getting an actual payment going through a bank statement that way.
I think you gotta find a way to do electronic payments.
Yeah.
Yes, people
Yes.
expect that.
Yep.
Uh,
There are some other people, I have reached out to some of them to get quotes and stuff, but unfortunately I didn't have the time for the meeting tonight. But I want to, I don't want to rush into something
Correct.
and just,
It seems like you're finding the catches before.
yeah, I don't want to just go ahead and say we're going to do something. I wanted to get some demos going and stuff. I want to find the proper software that's not going to be too time consuming, but it's going to be beneficial to the residents, not that they're going to have to say, after dinner, they want to pay their bills, and guess what? We can't pay our bills online anymore. We have to go into township office and do that.
I find it hard to believe there's that merchant service that would offer that for you.
There is, when I spoke to
I
Diane,
mean, it'll come at a cost.
right. Diane had said that there was a third-party merchant service, but she did not know enough about it to recommend it. She said she would have to do more research, but that it's gonna be something that she just didn't have time to do at the time. So I said, well, let's gather some more information before we move forward.
How do they do it?
Huh?
How do they do it? They have a third party billing,
No, it's all through into it.
and they receive the checks, but they don't do credit card and electronic?
They do credit cards and everything, but that's coming, I'm sorry, Diane Patton, not Diane Mellenbach. I was talking about the woman that was actually gonna set up everything. But,
But do you know how Main Creek does it?
they have a sewer authority that does it, but everything is done electronically. They have a portal that does everything. So I'm trying to reach out to the other municipalities to get some input from them.
Yeah, just do some research.
Yep,
Let's have a plan, because we have to accept credit cards, we have to.
Yeah, which is
That
not a
just
problem,
helps
it's just.
people pay on time.
Yeah, I would rather have them have the convenience of a portal to just, because that's how everybody pays anything
Yes.
anymore. Just a portal to do something.
Yes.
But I want to take some time and go through it, get some demos done and go through that way. But in the meantime, I did show, Michelle, 2 of the reports that we are able to get from PAMS that shows, I think I have a copy of them in there.
Yeah.
It shows the actual attorney fees and what's being paid versus what's not being paid. And those are 2 reports that they never offered us before, but now they are offering it to us on the actual accounts that we request. Basically, it's one of those things where if we have 2 people that are over $1,000, they have liens on their properties, I can request them to a certain account number, and they will print them out for us, and Michelle has those ahead of time. So in the meantime, we will work at that, and then I'll get some more quotes and get some more demos and see what we can do. Because I just think this Intuit thing is just gonna be, it's not gonna be beneficial to anybody, to be honest with you. Not that I don't wanna have to, not that I don't wanna try something out, but I just don't have the warm fuzzies about it.
Maybe we gotta look into a legit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have, we did have one from, I'm trying to think the names on the tip of my tongue. There was two different companies that had reached out. One was Vadar, and one was one that we had an estimate one from January, and I know that one was like $7,000 or something, which was very expensive, I thought. But a few other companies are getting together with quotes, but like I said, I don't wanna jump into something. I wanna have some time to get this and try it out.
I still think if we would spend a little more upfront, that it saves time and it's efficient.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
It'll be savings in the long run,
Yeah.
unless it's an annual fee, and that's usually what it is.
So I think for right now, unfortunately, we're gonna have to extend the contract with HAMS for a little bit.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm just glad you're willing to research it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So we'll just extend that contract and I'll keep looking and researching. Like I come up with.
Great, thank you.
When you say extended, are you thinking 3 months or?
They will only extend it year to year. They will not do a month. Correct.
I'm okay with the year though.
Yeah, I'd like to get it right.
Yeah, I'd like to get it right.
Yeah,
We don't wanna
I
get it.
don't wanna
and-
mess anything up. I wanna make sure we have the records the way we are and the
Yeah.
billing is I'm gonna be comfortable with the billing and stuff, so. Especially with the end of the year with budget and end of year reports, I don't wanna take too big
And you
chances
don't
with
wanna
that.
create a headache for yourselves and the residents.
Right,
Correct.
Right.
And we can test it out and then switch it over.
Yeah.
Be confident. That's fine.
okay. I don't have anything
I'll
else.
make a motion. We have to
I'm
make a
sorry.
motion to extend? I'll make a motion that we extend PAMS another year.
I'll second.
All in favor? You might wanna reach out to Fleetwood and see what they use. I know theirs was expensive.
They use, company out of Dallas. Because Chris, the gentleman said he wanted to help us out, and Chris said he had called me up and said that he spoke to you. And I guess he said they don't have the reports that we require. think that's why we didn't, I think that's why we dropped that amount to Pam's. That's what he told me.
Well,
He said they didn't have enough reports, enough to,
it was just, yeah, basically in a nutshell.
okay.
Yes. All right, nothing to report from the chairman. You guys have anything? Any participation from the floor? Hey, then I make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Well, how'd you get it? Oh, it's not there. I thought it came in
It's
mail.
out there. It's supposed to be in the mail. I don't think you got one.
I didn't get one.